Miss Casey Cyber Beauty channel. Today's video I'm going to be talking about some tips that can definitely help you on your traveling plan. Please stay tuned and keep watching because I do have an upcoming announcement towards the end of the video. Alright, we'll get into it. Okay guys, tip number 3. So when you're traveling overseas, you want to definitely make sure that your phone and your chargers are adequately equipped to be travel overseas, meaning that you definitely want to check with your cell phone company before you leave the country. And if you're one of those people who have prepaid phones, or even if you have phones that are not contract based, you definitely want to check with your cell phone company to make sure that your actual cell phone is unlocked. And when I mean unlock, I mean that you can actually take that cell phone and you can use it in another country, or you can actually put a SIM card in it and use or buy a SIM card and buy minutes and ultimately call out to family and friends when you're in that country. Now, I do understand there are other alternative options like apps like WhatsApp app and Skype and maybe Zoom and alternative other things that you can definitely use to actually communicate back and forth with family and friends. Now, the one thing that I'm going to mention is called the Google Wi-Fi, and I will put the information in the description box. Google Wi-Fi essentially did help me when I went overseas, and it was very essential to use as far as calling, texting, and even surfing the web when I needed to, instead of eternally using just the Wi-Fi in the hotel. Now, if you are prepaid, this would definitely work for you. Even if you are contract and savings, you don't want to use your ultimately your minutes. You want to check with your cell phone company. I know AT&T has a great plan for international traveling, and I do believe Verizon does have one as well. But you do need to check essentially with your cell phone company or who your cell phone provider is. So that way you have an idea generally if you're going to call overseas or if you're going to make any text messages, or even if you're doing video calls or anything like that. You definitely want to make sure that you check with them, because you will hate, it would be horrible to come back to the country, come back home, and then you see your bill, your cell phone bill, and you see all these international charges all because of the data roaming. And that's probably why it racks up in charges. So you want to let them know that, hey, I'm going to be overseas in this country, and you want to check with them to make sure your country, the country that you're traveling to, is actually allowing you to make those cell phone calls, or if they do a certain charge by a certain minute, how long that you've been on a phone with a person. Now, I'm giving that advice because of Google Wi-Fi, because it does help and it will save you probably excess dollars. I only paid maybe only a couple dollars for the actual Google Wi-Fi, and I just put $20 on there because I knew I was only gonna call family and friends, maybe for just to let them know I made it there safe, and just let them know what was going on. And basically that was basically it. I really didn't use my phone that much, other than to probably look up for like where I needed to go, or actually get myself an Uber or anything like that. But other than that, I didn't really use my phone that much. So, and of course, for me, that saved me some money and some dollars on trying to call myself, uh, go use up all my minutes for international calling. At the time, and even now, I'm basically prepaid, so I pay as I go. So you can definitely use that. That will save you some money. You don't need to go into a contract. Some people like contracts, but you don't have to do that, especially if you're traveling overseas. Okay, you guys, tip number 4. So, when it comes to traveling overseas, you definitely want to consider an app for custom and boards. Now, essentially, nowadays when people go and travel, whether you're traveling to airport, you can actually put your actual boards and customs and even your boarding pass on your cell phone, and especially depending on the flight or the actual airplane that you're planning on going on, you can actually put that on your cell phone. There's an app to download it from the airport, of course, and you just need to check your local airport or wherever you're traveling from, but make sure it's one of the international hubs. I do have an app that I'm going to link down below. The app is called Mobile Passport. If you download that app, you're definitely going to get an app that pops up on your phone, and it's going to ask you to key in your information like passport, your ID, and things like that, so that way you can get through U.S. Customs a little bit faster. Now, of course, there's a lot of certain views on there, but I used it, and it did get me through the line a little bit faster if you don't want to wait. and a lot of people have been saying it's great, and some people say they may have a slight problem with it. But you can definitely download on your iPhone, and you can definitely download it on your Android iPhone. You would definitely do it on iTunes, or you can definitely do it on your Android phone on Google Play. And they're basically free. Sometimes, depending on the charges, there is a slight charge for it, but essentially you can download the one that's actually free, and it works just as well, just as good. All you do is upload your picture, take a picture of your face so it can identify you, and then also you just take a picture of your passport. And you want to do this essentially just when you land, because it stays in your phone for maybe 15 minutes, and after 15 minutes it erases all the information, so that way no one can take your information off your phone while you're traveling. Also, I would like to add that if you decide to do the premium, which I believe it does cost, that way you don't have to rekey entering your information and taking a picture over and over again. You could definitely pay that price, but that's completely up to you guys. But I did want to give you an easy way to access some things. Sometimes apps can help move a little bit faster, especially when you're traveling and you need something to help you instead of waiting a long line. It's kind of like a pre-pass, like it pre-screens you so that way you don't have to wait in line, and that way you don't have to go through the process of looking through your passport again, pulling out information again, going through TSA. This actually helps it move a little bit faster when you're basically overseas and you have to go through U.S. Customs. This is going to help move that process a whole lot faster, and you don't have to wait in line for a long time or hours. Okay, you guys, last tip, and this is tip number 5. So, with my last tip, I did want to let you guys know. So when you reach your country, please take a time out to look and at least download the app, which is Uber. If you don't essentially take an Uber, or let's say you book with your actual travel agent that you're wanting a shuttle to come pick you up from the airport, or you want a particular company to pick you up from the airport, which is great. But if that does not work out essentially for you, you need to have a plan B, and which would be Uber. Uber is a great way to get around in another country. Now, check with international Uber to see which country, of course, works for you essentially. Because not all countries have Uber accessible at this time, but and I understand because of COVID, they may have made some changes, so definitely check. But download the Uber app, and then you definitely want to make sure that if you do make some changes, or if you do actually get with Uber, you need to make sure that they are aware that you are in that country, so that way you can get a ride. Or essentially, if Uber does not work at all, you do have one last resort, and that would be to get a taxi. And please make sure that you with taxis, they do not take credit cards and things like that. They take actual dollars, meaning that they take the actual paper cash. They do not take any credit cards or anything like that. So if you don't have that particular currency, that's why I'm mentioning earlier in the video to make sure that you get cash, or get transfer your cash into certain dollars, because sometimes not all places take credit cards, debit cards. Some of them actually want cash. So just as a advice to you guys, make sure that you do have cash on you just in case you run into that problems, because I do know when coming in or entering into a country, apps can have defects or sometimes not work when you need them to work, and you need a plan B. You can't sit and wait, for long periods of times and not get to your destination or get where you need to be. So always have a plan B. Always know that if something does not go right with the app, you have a plan B. No different with the passports. I did want to mention, when you get your passports, when you also get all that information in paper form, make sure you always have those as an excess backup copy, because if you do lose something, you can always get that redone, or you can even in that country, you can always get that redone. So always write down your ID number or your passport number, and you can get it redone in the country at the, I believe, the embassy or the country's transfer, or they do have information where you can definitely get that done if you ever lose any information. And you definitely want to have paper form for your boarding pass or any transition to get you from into the airport, because let's say for instance your app does not work when you try to scan to get on airport. If it does not work, at least you can pull out and tell the flight attendant, hey, I have my boarding pass, can you just scan this since my app is not working? Because sometimes that does happen. So I did wanted to give you that, and those are my tips. Now, I did mention towards the end of the video, and if you did continue watching to the end of the video, I do have a small announcement. In this video, this is part of a mini series that I'm going to do. So I did give you guys my tips, but I'm also and some advice, but also am going to show you some of my experience in a story that I'm going to tell you about my experience that I did encounter when I went overseas for my first time experience in another country. So I did wanted to let you guys know about that, but I also wanted to let you guys know that this is probably going to be my last video for lifestyle. I am going to be doing new videos. Of course, this is going to be my last actual video for the ending of the year, but for now. But I will be showing more videos, of course, in the future. And my new videos coming into 2021 will be essentially about tech, cybersecurity, learning some skills, and of course applying them and entering into this career in this field. So if you're a techie person, if you want to know more information about cybersecurity, and if you want to learn more about how to enter into this career, or even if you want to go to school and don't know what kind of courses to learn or study, stay tuned because I will be doing that. That will be my new videos coming into my channel. So I did wanted to let you guys know that that's going to be new coming into 2021. Coming into New Year 2021, I definitely will be changing some things up on my channel. So if you guys are interested in that, of course, stay tuned because that's what's going to be new coming to my channel, Miss Cyber Beauty. Okay, so I did wanted to let you know, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to this video and give it a thumbs up and share with family and friends as well. And I will see you guys on my next one. Bye.